Relevant committees of the House of Representatives were conducting investigative hearing on the explosion of crude oil floating vessel, the Trinity Spirit, at the Escravos estuary in Delta State, which occurred on the 2nd of February this year, to ascertain the cause of explosion and to prevent recurrence of the incident. This followed a motion by Honorable Julius Ponde on the floor of the Green Chamber. Trinity Spirit vessel was the main production facility for the OML 108 in Nigeria offshore Ukpokiti oil field in the Niger Delta region, with a capacity to process up to 22,000 barrels of crude oil per day, with a storage capacity of 2 million barrels, managed by Sheba Exploration and Production Limited. But after a judgment debt obtained in 2019, liabilities of the facilities were shifted to the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCOM. During the investigative hearing, members of the committee observed that the floating vessel had no valid insurance cover, no safety approval from Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency NIMASA at the time of explosion. The vessel, which operated until 2021, had its last safety audit done in 2014, an exercise which is supposed to be conducted annually. Speaking before the committee, the representative of Sheba Exploration and Production Limited, Ikeme Funokafo, said the vessel had condition survey approved by the American Bureau of Shipping, while Mr. Balogun Adamu of the New Petroleum Offspring Regulatory Agency, NUPRA, said vessels operating in Nigerian waters must have safety audit from the Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA. NIMASA, represented by Olu Adenusi, told the committee that surveyors were sent to Trinity Storage Facility in 2013 and discovered that the vessel was not fit for Nigerians' water. Head of Legals of Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCOM, Albert Nwadozie, said AMCOM took over assets and not liabilities of Sheba Exploration and Production Limited.
Sorry, class certification is by an independent party, if it is class certification, and that American Bureau of Shipping was the party that we were using for the certification.
At the time of his application to the NIMASA, he had no valid class certificate, and there was no way we would have given him a pass mark for condition survey. He was out of class, and he has no flag, no nationality, and no...
Sheba, can you hear that?
I can
hear that. As of the time you applied, you were out of class.
When I answered the question, I made the point that the timeline was 2016. I clarified 2016 when I made my statement.
Floating facility is more than a permanent place.
That one has killed so many things now.
Yes, sir. At the same time, this very vessel was being husbanded by DPR. Even as at 2021, they offloaded and they exported.
Excuse me. Where were you when they were offloading and exporting?
It is not my duty
as a ship that is not registered?
Sir, it is not my duty as NIMASA to supervise the exportation of crude oil.
But it's your duty to arrest any ship that is not registered.
I cannot arrest a floating facility, sir. It is not a ship moving. It's not a moving ship. It's moored in permanent position. So we can't arrest or detain a vessel that is permanently moored.
He carried crude at a permanent position. He carried crude as a permanent position.
So what we are saying is that we actually started our own investigation long before now, because it's our responsibility to handle issues like this when they happen in the industry. But what I'm emphasizing is that revocation of the license of that location, revocation of the license of that field is already evidence that the NUPRC is no longer interested in the company continuing operations in that field. There are two reasons. The first one is indebtedness to the government. The other one is the condition of the facility.
It is only assets. Liability obligation attached to any EBA does not come to AMCON. I repeat again, it does not, it remains with the bank.
Members of the committee frowned at the new Petroleum Upstream Regulatory Agency and NIMASA for negligence that led to the explosion and loss of human lives and people's livelihood in the communities around the facilities.
People who live within areas where these activities are carried out, I'm not too sure you know the weight of problems they carry. There are people lying in the mortuary as we speak. And there are those that have not been found up till this moment. And it appears to me that you have failed in your responsibility. And you are unable to accept that fact. And you are here tossing us around. Even if we have not come to the conclusion of this investigation, you have to be mindful of the fact that people have lost their lives. And if we go by what we are seeing here, there will be issues of manslaughter.
Often do you undertake safety service? And he answered, annually. Because the last time this correspondence of this vessel not being fit was communicated between NIMASA and themselves and Sheba was in 2017. And NIMASA has clearly exonerated herself that it's not her duty to arrest such vessels, that the duty is for DPR, which is yours. So between 2017 and 2019, what have you done to keep this dangerous vessel out of Nigerian waters?
The Deputy Governor of Ondo State, Lucky Ayedatiwa, and the Shekiri coastal dwellers, represented by Besidone Eyineho, also spoke before the committee.
It is indisputable by anyone among all the stakeholders, except there's going to be anyone right now, that the location of this Trinity FPSO vessel is situated in Ondo State territory. And coming in this morning into this hall and looking at the banner in front of me, which is behind you, I saw that the location was written as Escravos Estuary in Delta State. And I questioned that how can that be? If I'm the Deputy Governor of Ondo State, I'm coming here to speak on behalf of the state because the issue at hand affected my state and indigents of my state in that particular area. And I was pleading, and I want to plead, since it's an investigative inquiry or hearing, that we need to first of all establish that so that that error can be amended. That is my first plea with this honorable committee.
For us, as Ishekiri people and people from Delta State, our interest here is the level of pollution that moves to our part of the state, our part of this country. To us, we believe that we are not here to discuss the issue of who owns the land or the location from which the FPSO was located.
We have heard you.
Yes.
Chairman of the committee, Honorable Deko Dumne-Name, called on the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, National Emergency Management Agency, as well as state emergency management agencies in the affected states to provide relief materials to the affected communities. The committee also summoned all petroleum companies using the facilities for storage to appear before the committee on Tuesday, 29th of March.